How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Benji's Logs on Whatnots 2.0. I am Benji. Today is a very beautiful day. It is the 21st of April in this video, but when it gets uploaded it's going to be the 22nd, but the 21st is a very special day for us. We've just hit our 2-year sobriety. That's right, guys, you've heard correctly. 2 years of being sober. Cannot bloody believe it. I honestly thought that we would have, as you would say, had a few lapses in between our first day to today, but we were fairly lucky that we were, as you would say, strong enough to get through the worst patch of sobriety. What do I mean by that, guys? All I can say is the first 8 months of giving up the grog was the hardest thing that we've, as you would say, ever done. For the very simple fact that this thing up here was constantly screaming at us to, as you would say, go and get some alcohol. But we managed to get through it. All I can say is since we've quit the drink, our mind is pretty much like this weather right now. Very clear. Occasionally we do get the odd smudge of cloud going through, but it is a lot better than what it was 2 years ago. Cannot bloody believe that, guys. Jesus Christ. 2 years. Now, what have we learnt in the last 2 years? Very simple. That our ego and mind is our worst enemy. And basically being in, I wouldn't say solitary, but basically being alone is the worst thing for us, because that's where we get into trouble. Because what our minds do is our minds will literally be screaming at us 24/7 on all the things that we tried to keep quiet with the grog. And I can tell you right now, that's the biggest reason why I have Miss Baxter. She has been a pretty good rock in my life, especially with getting through these 2 years. Not only that, since we've given up the grog, we have, as you would say, gotten a little bit easier at regulating ourselves a little bit more than what we did when we were on the grog. Every small little inconvenience and everything else in between that wouldn't bother most people was like a nail to us every time. We'd lose our shit, lose our minds, and then we'd go and drink about it. Not anymore. Nowadays, a lot of things that would normally piss me off doesn't even scratch the surface. Nowadays, we usually let it go pretty bloody quick, especially when it comes to anger. I have learned a little trick with that nowadays. That is, you're not going to do that today, and as soon as I say those words, it pretty much escapes me. So, yeah, it's unbelievable on how big of a difference I am as a person from 2.5 years ago to now. Give you a bit of a prime example of what I'm talking about, especially with the temper. About this time last year, someone backed into my car. April 19th, 2025, as a matter of fact. It was a Saturday, it was Dad's birthday. It was about 7:45 in the morning when one of the girls up the front came out and asked if I had a blue car, and I said, yep, blue Focus parked across the road. And she goes, oh, well, someone's just backed into it. Back then, if that happened 2.5, 3 years ago, I would have cracked the shit. And I mean, I would have been swearing, I would have been throwing things around in the van and everything else in between. But now, Coming shy of a year, didn't even faze me. Back when I was drinking, I was, as you would say, a very angry person, very depressed person as well. But that's another valuable thing that I've learnt with putting the bottle down, is all the emotions settle right down. Anger, depression, anxiety, all of it almost disappears. Nowadays it's more like this view right here. Majority of the time it's clear sailing, and every now and then might get a little bit of a splotch like that. Like that cloud where something's annoyed me, but I usually recover pretty bloody quick from it. Back in the day of drinking, I would have held on to it like you wouldn't believe for hours, if not days. But I'd have to say the first 8 months were a really bad roller coaster, and I mean really bad, because the emotions were going up, down, left, right, you name it, craving like a bitch. I got over the cravings within about 8 months, but unfortunately for me, because alcohol is a high end of sugar, I was craving sugar for quite a bit of time. At least 2 months I was craving sugar, and every time I go down the lawn and drop off some stuff down there, I get myself 4 Mars bars or 4 Snickers, or I'd get 2 of each, 2 Snickers, 2 Mars bars. I got 2 lots of blood tests 5 years apart. One in 2020, the blood sugar was up around 6.5 blood sugar, and then 2025 it was around 11.8. So the sugar did jump up quite severely. Mind you, 16 years of drinking and 2 months of eating chocolate didn't exactly help the blood sugar concentration in the body. So that is one thing that drinking gave me long term, was type 2 diabetes. It also gave us a fatty liver as well, which sucks. I do have to be mindful of what we eat, especially when it comes to processed foods and sugar. But in saying all that, guys, I am pretty lucky. I still have a house or a roof over my head, a bed that I can sleep in, clothes on my back, a family that still loves me. You know, there's a lot of people out there that were, as you would say, losing a lot more than that. Families, houses, businesses, jobs. A lot of people do become homeless because of said addictions, which I do feel for them, I really do. And I know there's a lot of people out there that do turn around and say alcoholics and drug addicts deserve what they get. You know, for me, I personally don't believe that. We drink alcohol and we do drugs for a handful of things: bad marriage, toxic relationship, bad household, workplace bullying, harassment, bullying in school, and some form of severe trauma. That's the big reason why I drank, is because of childhood trauma. I drank as soon as I turned 18. I just drank hard for 16 years. Well, I can't say that, because when I first started drinking when I was 18, it was 12 drinks over the weekend, and then it progressively gotten more and more and more and more, to the point where I was drinking, if I had a chance, it'd be probably about 4 slabs a week, plus a couple of bottles of bourbon or scotch or whatever I decided to get my hands on. So in other words, I was practically self-medicating because of the trauma that I experienced when I was a kid. I might do a video about it, I might not, depending on guidelines and everything else with YouTube. I don't want to cross any lines, but yeah, I basically drank to self-medicate for the childhood that I had. Wasn't exactly pleasant, but yeah, I'm still here, I'm alive, I'm doing better mentally, physically. I'm not drinking, I'm not dwelling on it. occasionally does sneak back into the mind, but it usually does, probably lasts about 15 minutes and then it's gone. But I still have that swirling feeling in my gut for probably another hour after that. I usually distract myself now with music or basically the view, looking around, because my medication nowadays is sitting right there. Trees, grass, bags of horse manure. No, just kidding about that. Flowers. I love nature more than anything, and that right there is my go-to whenever I'm feeling like shit. I'll go for a walk. I'll be looking at all the plants and all the trees and the grass, and I've got a process now to help regulate said thoughts, memories, emotions. So we do have plans in place to basically stop us from going to those places, those memories, those emotions, and everything else in between. So we do have ways of dealing with it nowadays. And even just sitting out here looking at the horizon, seeing the 3 to 4 colours over there, because you got the dark blue, the orangey, the orange, the yellow, and light blue up top. Just seeing those colours there for about 5-10 minutes can sometimes help ease the mind. But my biggest go-to is video games, no doubt. I as you would say, still have an addictive personality when it comes to certain things, and video games is definitely one of them. Don't get me wrong, guys, there's times where I am utterly forgetful, and I mean bloody forgetful. I had a moment just a moment ago when I walked back into my room, and that was very simple. I had to change Becky's bird seat around on a little perch, and I walked in here, and as soon as I walked in here, I completely bloody forgot what I was going to do, and it was that. And I sat down for about 2 minutes, racking my brain, what was I going to do? And then I remembered, Becky's seed. It's like one of those bloody light bulb moments where it's like, doink, oh yeah, that's right, I was going to do that. It was literally one of those moments. And I know there's going to be a question at some point. Yes, I do occasionally get the odd mild craving for a beer. I'm not going to lie, I still get those 2 years down the track. Every now and then I'll be driving down the road to lawn or back from lawn, all of a sudden just get this urge, I wouldn't mind trying a bloody Budweiser, because I did like the Budweisers when I drank. A very gentle beer as they are. Gave me a small little buzz when I drank them, but mind you, when I drank them, I was pretty hard into it at the time, so it didn't give me a complete buzz like what VB would give me. That was my go-to drink, is VB. Either VB or Jim Beam's Devil Cut. Because of that, I am severely considering getting this very thing right here and giving it a very big workout. And what do I mean by that, guys? I am considering on getting a second channel going just for video game live streams, because we do spend more time on the video games than we do anything else. So we are considering on getting a live stream channel on YouTube just for video games. And I'm going to try and do at least one a week live streams on the computer for you guys. For a very simple fact, I've actually got my computer set up in such a way that we can actually do it. At the moment, this is how we've got it set up. Webcam sitting right here on a little tripod, computer, microphone. So that is how we're going to have it potentially set up. We may end up having that back up on top of here. So if we open this up, we can have the dash cam, not dash cam, webcam sitting up right there. Because the beautiful thing is, since we've given up the drink, and especially being 2 years down the track, our confidence is starting to get up there as well, which is good. Because I remember when I first started going to AA, I could not speak. Could not do it. I always felt very shy and very introverted, but now I'm starting to chair the AA meetings from time to time, which is something that I would never normally do. I'm saying that, guys, there will be days where you'll be seeing a lot more of Miss Baxter, especially live, and me smooshing up to her and everything else in between. I can tell you right now for free, Miss Baxter has been quite a beneficial being in my life, because that's one thing that they say is solitary, or basically being stuck in the room, is not a good thing to do, especially for people like me, because our minds will start wandering. But anyway, I'm not going to bang on about that because I've said it like 3 bloody times already. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at today, guys. Is pretty much hitting my 2-year mark. I'm going to be celebrating it down at our little meeting tomorrow night, or in this case, when this video gets released, tonight, Wednesday night. That is going to be a beautiful thing. Last week someone did celebrate their 1 year. This year it's going to be my 2 year. I'm very, very happy on how far we have come. But in saying that, guys, I have banged on. I basically wanted to give you that quick little update, if you want to call it quick. But yeah, I'm going to basically say arrivederci for now, guys, because there's not much else we can really talk about today, because it is starting to, as you would say, get dark outside, so we can't really do anything out there at the moment. So I'm saying that, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, and everything else in between, I'll see you in the next video. As always, keep it cheesy.